Hello? All right, please turn off your electronic devices at this time, please. Good evening. For those of you that just joining us, I would like to welcome you to the school board business meeting at the Joanne Idlett Junior TEC. Today is Tuesday, November 19th, 2024, and I would like to call this meeting to order. The time is 6 p.m. I ask that out of respect to everyone, please silence all electronic devices. And also, if you have any material you'd like to wish to add or share with any board members, please give that to our executive assistant, Mrs. Moray. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Vero Beach High School Air Force Junior ROTC Detachment 043 under the direction of Major Retired Dean Ragsdale and Senior Master Sergeant Retired Sean Rood. Please stand.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, colors. Opposed? Right face, forward, march.
I know, it's true.
You always do a great job. Thank you. All right, at this time, board members, does anyone wish to move anything from consent to action or add a discussion item?
I'd like to add a discussion item called reading campaign.
Anyone else?
Yes, just a discussion item on board protocols and reviewing those at our next workshop.
Anyone else? Okay. Then I'm going to call for a motion to accept the adoption of the orders of the day as amended.
So moved?
Okay, Dr. Jones,
Second.
Dr. Pasca. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes 5-0. All right, superintendent's report. I'd like to recognize Dr. Moore at this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As the presentation comes up, Ronnie? Okay. All right, so it has been an extremely busy month for the School District of Indian River County. On October 25th, immediately following our last board meeting, this is a team from our classical school had the opportunity to spend a day at True North Classical School, and the picture on the bottom are the two teams working together, problem solving, learning from one another. Just an absolute outstanding advancement in our understanding of how we're going to create this wonderful opportunity for our students. This is a very unique night. It's one of the most powerful nights in Indian River County. This is Vero Beach Senior High School Band Alumni Night. There are people like Kristen Maddox and Bruce Green who take up their instrument from 15 and 30 years ago, respectively, and they take to the field with the current students. It is so powerful. They had students from former students from across the country come out. That doesn't happen anywhere. That's why we all love this place. United Way Day of Caring, which is the very next morning, all across our school system and ultimately our community, with support from the United Way, investing in our community. From a district perspective, we wanted to do something special. So rather than assign ourselves to multiple schools, we focused in on Dodgertown. So this entire office was at Dodgertown doing the very hard labor, building benches, painting inside classrooms, planting plants. Some of us were at Dodgertown on Saturday. It is a transformed school in terms of just how it looks. It is absolutely beautiful, and a lot of that advancement comes at the blood and sweat and tears of the work that we did on October 26th. This was the Sunday event, October 27th. This is the Dr. Ronald A. Hudson Administrative Suite, approved by this board. Just a powerful ceremony. The history that was in that room as it relates to Vero Beach Senior High School, once again, a powerful afternoon. The Day of Discovery at Indian River State College, just another partnership where we were able to advance and explore multiple aspects of through discovery. The school choice fair was absolutely outstanding because of the hurricane. I had to reschedule an event, so I missed it. But the traffic that went through, the presentations of our principals, it's just a great day to highlight the quality programming that's in our public school system. There were student performances throughout. It was packed, and we're anticipating huge numbers in terms of recruitment this upcoming school year. The Holocaust Education Week was November 4th through the 8th. One of the things that we want to highlight is the Anne Frank Living Museum exhibits at both Vero Beach High School as well as Sebastian River High School. This is the opportunity for our students to learn and be trained and facilitate other students and community through this experience. So during the school day, students had the opportunity to come in and be exposed to the program or the exhibits through a tour guide. And in the evening, it was open again, and our community came in, and they learned from our students who were trained to provide this opportunity for our community and students. It was extremely powerful. And then we had in, once again, First Priority, which is really adopted this building. They wanted to love on our folks who did all of this extra work during the hurricane. So they were able to bring them in here, serve them, feed them, pray for them, thank them. It was just an absolutely outstanding opportunity just to give back to those who literally spent 4 or 5 days away from their families, making sure we were ready to open up schools after that storm. Veterans Day events and activities, just what we do with Veterans Day, extremely intentional. We just don't do one day. We do it over the course of the week. We get our veterans into the buildings. We celebrate them. The Army-looking guy, G.I. Joe right there, that is actually Mr. Teskey, who is giving a presentation to students regarding his service. And then College Flagler, once again, another opportunity to partner and attend professional development around making sure our teachers are classical educational experts when school opens next school year. So that was yet again another opportunity to build that work. World Kindness Day was November 13th. Once again, activities throughout the entire system, very intentional to make sure we're celebrating that day. And then last November 14th, Dr. Moore's Magnificent Mathletes Competition. This is something that we created where we take the 4 middle schools, our students participating in high school level courses, algebra and geometry, and they spend the entire day competing with the content of the course, whether it's algebra or geometry. Not only do they take individual assessments, they do team projects, and they ultimately compete amongst one another as well as a school site. So it was a virtual experience. I had the opportunity to kick the morning off with all of our advanced students at our middle schools. Just great feedback from those students, and we're going to have another one in the second semester. And then policy, practice, and performance. That was yet another opportunity to bring folks in from across the nation to talk through what we're doing with our school system in terms of how we focus in on instruction, how we leverage partnerships, and how we are ultimately the most improved school system in the state of Florida for the last 3 years in a row. And then principals meeting. This was something unique. part of the design at Vero Beach Elementary School is to push out some of the practices that are created there. So this was the opportunity to take these visitors to Vero Beach Senior High School and allow our high school and middle school principals really to to participate in classroom walkthroughs, debrief what they're seeing in classrooms, and really define what the next instructional steps were. And the takeaway is exactly what we want it to be. It doesn't make a difference if you're in a high school or a middle school, you are an instructional leader, and they were able to highlight the depth in which they can talk through instruction, the understanding of instruction, and then defining the next steps to improve the quality of instruction. And then last Friday was an extremely busy day. We're working on the video, but as we did last year, there are so many different organizations across our county who invest in our students, invest in our schools. That is their sole purpose. So we spend a half a day investing in those organizations. We call it our School District of Indian River County Thankful Day of Service, where we have the opportunity to go back and support those organizations just by being in service of them. Very powerful day. Allows us a deeper understanding of all the services that are available in our school system. We were across that is a canned picture. I really wasn't working. I was going and doing all of the filming in the different spaces. And then last Friday, Taxpayer Association had a panel. So it was nice to listen to Dr. McMahon and Dr. Shafty talk through the quality, programming, intentionality that we have in our school system at that event. And then the very next morning, November 16th, bright and early at 8 a.m., we had the opportunity to cut the ribbon and officially open Steam Park, which is a beautiful space. We cut the ribbon, and then he immediately had an event from students across the county who went through a day of exploration in Steam Park. So once again, really seeing a different Dodgertown Elementary School based on the partnership that we have there and the intentionality. And we are going to close this presentation with a short video highlighting the Veterans Day events.
Although school was not in session on Veterans Day this year, our district made it a priority to dedicate time to honor and thank our veterans. Across all campuses, we celebrated and recognized veterans through a variety of special events and activities. Many schools started the day by hosting special veterans breakfasts, where local heroes enjoyed a meal, shared stories, and were able to connect with the next generation. These gatherings were a chance to build relationships and hear firsthand accounts of courage and sacrifice. In classrooms, students wrote heartfelt thank you notes to veterans and, in some cases, welcomed veterans as guest speakers, offering a unique opportunity to hear about the experiences of those who served. Storm Grove Middle School held their annual Veterans Day Salute, where students from the Storm Grove Band, Orchestra, and Chorus all performed. Special guest keynote speaker, Lieutenant Commander Melissa Martinelli, shared her personal experiences from her time in service and offered a unique and inspiring perspective on the sacrifices and dedication of veterans. On Veterans Day, the Vero Beach High School Band performed at Memorial Island during the Veterans Day ceremony. Through these activities, students learn the true meaning of Veterans Day and the importance of honoring those who have served. We are honored to be able to recognize the men and women in the armed forces who have served and protected our country. From the School District of Indian River County to all of our veterans, thank you for your service and dedication to our country.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes the presentation.
Okay, thank you. All right, it is time for citizen input. I have this long thing to read still. Are we looking at shortening this? I thought. Okay. All right. These are the guidelines for citizen input according to the School Board Policy 0169.1. Each statement made by a member of the public shall be limited to 3 minutes in duration. I will be recognizing in order in which the requests were received. The time shall start when the speaker is at the podium, and the public information officer will be the official timekeeper. As you will see, the time clock is visible to your left on the dais. You will hear a beep at the end of your 3 minutes. Each person may speak up to 3 minutes at the beginning of a business meeting during citizen input as indicated on the order of business of the day, or up to 3 minutes to each action agenda item during the action agenda, and each board member discussion item as indicated on the order of business. Although I don't think that's true anymore. If a consent item is moved to an action item when you come up to the podium, you may speak at that time, or you may defer to speak during the presentation of that action item. People may only speak once about any given item. The time period may be extended by the presiding officer, and only the individual submitting the speaker's form is allowed to address the board. Time may not be yielded to other speakers. During the meeting, please refrain from clapping or outbursts of any sort so we can proceed with dignity and decorum by not infringing on any individual's First Amendment rights. I need to remind everyone to direct all comments to the chair, not to individual board members or to the superintendent of schools. Board members may or may not address any citizen input statements at the end of all citizen input comments. As board members listen to citizens without interruption, citizens are asked to give board members the same respect. As per Florida Statute 1001.372, subsection 3, the presiding officer of any district school board may order the removal from a public meeting held by the district school board of any person interfering with the orderly process of such meeting, provided such officer has first issued a warning that continued interference with the orderly processes of the meeting will result in that removal. The first warning is to everyone at this time. No personal attacks, no inciting, no disrespect, please. I will be calling you up 2 at a time. The first person will be called to the podium to speak, and the second person will be in line to speak. Speakers shall not engage in personal attacks or abusive language. The chair has the right to terminate any speaker's privilege to address the board if that rule is violated. If you have anything to give to board members or to the superintendent, please do that at this time through our executive assistant, Mrs. Moret. It is clear that the board has taken action to comply with the law regarding instructional materials, including library books. If you are here to express your opinion regarding HB 1069 on materials in school libraries, we would ask that you visit staff in the lobby to initiate the challenge process. Finally, the school district supports First Amendment rights of speakers and rights outlined in HB 1069 regarding library materials. As such, some individuals may choose to exercise these rights, which may include reading material with language or content that is not appropriate for all audiences. Knowing this, please make a viewing decision appropriate for you and your family. All right. At this point, we have 5 speakers. I'm going to call that first speaker up, and I am going to exercise my right to give a little bit extra time to this speaker. Mrs. Maddox, you are our first speaker.
Good evening, members of the board. Dr. Jacobs, would you give me 3 minutes, please?
I told you I was extending your time.
I appreciate that. This has really been a long time coming. I want to bring to your attention a complaint regarding one of our employees. We are all a little frustrated by how good he is at his job. This person is always volunteering to assist with tech at meetings, and it's really just kind of obnoxious. He makes sure the microphones work, the screens stay on, and everything runs smoothly. It's honestly kind of irritating how effortlessly he handles problems that would send the rest of us into a panic. How can one person be this good? It's honestly a little unfair. And if you've ever called on him at the district office to help with a tech issue, you know exactly what I mean. Everyone goes running to him with their problems, big and small, and he handles it all with ease. What a show-off. It's like he has a sixth sense for troubleshooting, and he somehow always knows exactly what to do. I don't know how he does it, but we all rely on him more than we'd like to admit. And let's be real. If you've ever worked in the district office, you know the chaos that unfolds when technology fails. The Wi-Fi drops, someone's ViewSonic panel doesn't work, Dr. Moore's clicker isn't clicking, the projector isn't projecting, or my personal favorite, when my H drive disappears, or I have to reset my password to clear my cache. And who gets the call every time? He does. No matter how big or small the problem, this person handles it all like a pro. Most of the time, he has the audacity to tell us to just turn it off and back on. And the frustrating thing is that normally works. So while I'm complaining about how unfairly talented he is, the truth is, he deserves every bit of recognition. He keeps everything running smoothly day in and day out, and he absolutely deserves the Employee of the Year for the J.A. Thompson Administration Building, Mr. Ronald Smith.
Oh, that's cool. 09 graduate.
That was cute.
Really good kid.
Get out of the way.
We kind of joined him. You know,
Okay.
she's so good at that. Come on, Dr.
Come this way.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right.
You should come in the picture. You should come, oh.
We can come down.
Come to the front. Oh, okay.
All right.
All righty.
All right, you ready? Three. I'll take them already. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
That was cool.
Now for my real comment. I'm just kidding.
You've had enough time, ma'am. Please sit. All right, our next speaker is May Asensio, and on deck will be Jennifer Pippin.
That's a hard act to follow. Good evening. Silencing parents is not what is best for children. The time change you're proposing will deprive parents and citizens of expressing their opinions on issues that the board will be voting on. Many parents and citizens work. The board meeting at 3:30 would be a hindrance to their participation in these decisions that affect their children and students of this county. Why this determination to dangle our First Amendment rights just out of reach? Yes, I can speak at a board meeting, but there's no way I'm able to attend a meeting because of the time change the board decided on, therefore I cannot speak. No, that's unacceptable. I urge the board to vote down this proposal. Do not change the board meeting times. Continue to allow parents and citizens to attend these meetings and have the opportunity to speak out. On the matter of moving citizen input to the end of the meetings, by moving the comments to the end of the meeting, you will be shutting down all points of view. What good would it do to comment on something that has already been voted on? I urge you to leave citizen input at the start of the meeting after presentations like we do now, so all have an opportunity to speak and provide the board information and opinions that should have a bearing on your votes. Board meetings should be scheduled at a time when citizen and parental availability is at its peak so that they have access to speak at board meetings. And the availability of citizen input should be made at a time that allows citizens to express thoughts that may influence a board member's opinion and therefore their vote, not after they've already voted. So please vote no on these proposals. You are all elected members. You're not CEOs of Indian River County Schools. The function is different. You need to listen. What I care about is your actions, what you vote for or against, and your behavior while on this board. And I watched today's superintendent's workshop, and I witnessed some combative behavior and critical comments to the board. Criticism of the board by a board member is not professional. Yet it was mentioned that this board needed more professionalism, better prioritization, being more engaged. So through the chair, quick question for Mr. Dyer. Is there anything else on your agenda that you are considering amending or rescinding due to you not having been officially installed on the board yet? Thank you. And I just wanted to comment through the chair, Dr. Moore, the presentation, superintendents, that wonderful activities, and I congratulate the board and everyone involved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer Pippin, and on deck is Thomas Kenny.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Pippin, and I'm the proud chairman of Moms for Liberty here in Indian River County. 3 words for my speech today: elections have consequences. I'm going to read an email from David Dyer to Dr. Moore dated September 17th, 2024, and this was his first communication to the district as board-elect. Dear Dr. Moore, upon review of the resolution posted to the website on Monday evening to be considered at the next workshop and/or board meeting, I strongly object to the early appointment of Ms. Rosario to the IRC NAACP work group by the current board. Appointments are to be made annually at the November board reorganization meeting. To do so earlier than November 2024 reorganization meeting usurps my legal authority and responsibility to vote as a board member in that meeting, and additionally, the resolution to appoint disrespects the will of the voter. As a reminder, I was elected on August 20th with an overwhelming majority to the voters in Indian River County to represent District 5, beginning my term with the November reorganization meeting. I will take whatever procedural and legal action necessary to protect my rights as board member-elect and as a board member. Please advise council and the board of my strong objection. Sincerely, David Dyer. It has been made clear by the board's legal counsel that David Dyer, board member-elect at the time, did not possess voting rights until officially sworn into office today. Through the chair to Mr. Dyer, I must ask, are there any plans to pursue legal action against the district despite the fact that you were not authorized to vote on this item? Such a lawsuit could result in unnecessary taxpayer dollars being spent on a matter that, per the board's legal advice, is not in compliance with board procedures. Furthermore, I must address a deeply troubling issue that goes far beyond procedural matters. There appears to be an increasing level of tension surrounding the only minority member on this board, Ms. Rosario, a Hispanic woman who holds 3 master's degrees in education. Any attempt to undermine or attack a board member based on personal, racial, or discriminatory factors is unacceptable and has no place on this board. David Dyer's decisions must be rooted in professionalism and respect, not in bias or personal agendas. In addition to these concerns, I have filed a Sunshine Law violation regarding the email communications that were sent to influence the vote. Florida Sunshine Law requires all communications and decisions be made by public boards be transparent and conducted in the open without sharing votes. The actions I'm referring to violate this principle, and such I have notified the proper authorities, including the AG Ashley Moody, the Attorney General's office locally, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Should a violation of the Sunshine Law be found, the penalties are severe, including a fine up to $500, imprisonment for up to 60 days, and even removal from office. Thank you.
Okay, Thomas Kenny is next. Jennifer Freeland is our last speaker.
Hi, congratulations, Mr. Dyer, on your election. I too want to speak to this resolution because during the debate of it, it was very clear that the conversation between Peggy Jones and Jackie Rosario at the workshop was one that was very cordial, and Peggy Jones did clearly say, I think all of us should serve on this. And then the email showed up. Now, as we've just learned, this email is before a state's attorney in questioning a violation of Sunshine Law. It's very severe. The other side of that is everything went sour after that. So there's merit to this investigation. People have said, well, that didn't affect my vote. Whatever. We'll find out. Furthermore, it puts the superintendent, who does very well for our schools, in a very precarious position because he's directly involved. That's what happened here. And that's not good. My big thing is that at one point before the vote, Peggy Jones was talking about, because there's the issue of Jackie hadn't been on there for any meetings, they hadn't met in 6, 7 months, what have you. There have been 2 meetings since. By the way, one of which the plaintiff's side of that work group said she'll be off by November 19th, based on this email and all this discussion. But one of the things that was very interesting to me is this. Peggy Jones said in my 24 months, I served I think we had about 8 meetings. 66% of the required meetings were never held. That's unacceptable. And we're cruising right now at that here. We've had 4 this year, 4, 5 out of 12. Okay, we're doing pretty good. You know, your resolution is basically to take what she's done and move it to the next year so she doesn't serve a year and a half, but someone else can. That's personal. I don't care how you slice or dice it, that's personal. The resolution itself is really not being amended. The amendment's just sort of postponing how it should work. All because of one person who happens to be very effective at what she does, in my view. But I think the effective thing that you all should be doing is figuring out how to get this work group meeting once a month, nonstop. This should be priority 1. And I don't know why it's not happening. That's something I think would be really valuable to get to rather than doing this.
Jennifer Freeland. You're our last speaker.
Good evening, Dr. Moore, Cabinet, and the board. First, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. We're right there. Didn't know it was November today, though. November was the longest year, right? Yeah. So I just want to say happy Thanksgiving. November's almost over. We're almost to Christmas break. But I really got up to say congratulations to Mr. Dyer for being here, being inducted today, and to welcome you yet again. And that's really all I had tonight. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you.
November's the longest year.
Yes, would anyone like to speak to any speakers? We're good?
I just get nervous when Ms. Friedland doesn't have a script, so.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the consent agenda items as amended.
So move.
Okay, Dr. Jones?
Second.
Thank you. Dr. Pasca? Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. We're going to review any, we don't have any pulled consent items. We do have 2 discussion items which we'll get to, but we're to the action agenda now. So action agenda A is the appointment of the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer of the Leasing Corporation. Purpose of this action item is to officially designate the chair of the school board as president, vice chair of the district school board as the vice president, and the superintendent, vice chair as the vice president, and the superintendent of schools as the secretary treasurer of the Leasing Corporation as per the bylaws of the corporation. I had a call for a motion to accept the president, vice president, and the secretary treasurer of the Leasing Corporation. I need a motion.
So move.
Okay, Dr. Jones? Second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Dyer? All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, that passes 5-0. All right, moving to action agenda B, approval of appointment of a citizen to the Indian River County Metropolitan Planning Organization, MPO, County Citizen Advisory Committee for Transportation, and an alternate for this voting position. This is a volunteer position that began on September 11, 2012. The term of this position coincides with the board's organization meeting and is a voting position. The CAC meets the second Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. in the County Administration Building B, Conference Room B1-501. Last year, the position was filled by Mr. Andros as a citizen member. Mr. Andros submitted a yearly report. Board members will vote on both the committee citizen member and the alternate to serve. There were 2 people that applied, correct?
One for the chair and one for the alternate.
Okay, 1 for the chair and 1 for the alternate. Okay, so the person that applied for the chair is Mr. Andros, who served this year. The person that applied for the alternate is Mr. Marsh, who served also. Was he the alternate this year?
Yes.
No, I didn't think so. No, I didn't think so. All right, so the citizen members, Mr. Andros, Can I get a motion?
So move.
Dr. Jones, second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Dyer. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have some questions
Okay.
here.
Dr. Posca?
I think, obviously, I think last year, he requested to be on, isn't that right?
Last year, to be on
Yeah.
NPO?
Yeah, and I mean, wasn't there an issue with, he had to own like an actual business?
I asked about that, but that's
That's a different,
VAB.
that's the
Yeah,
VAB.
That's a VAB.
Okay. I mean, I guess my only other objection to his appointment would be that, something I raised last time, and that he runs people's campaigns. I know he ran Barefoot's campaign. I think he was associated with David Dyer and Peggy Jones' campaign. So I'm just not sure, from an ethics standpoint, I guess them voting to put him on a committee, and how that would violate basic ethics.
So I think I'm going to turn that over to our attorney.
Well, I have a comment first.
Okay.
As I said in my speech today, my husband, myself, and I ran my campaign. As far as anybody managing me, the only person who manages me is myself. So no, he did not run my campaign.
He wasn't associated with it at all.
Nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, through the chair. So you as board members are governed by the ethics contained in Chapter 112 Florida statutes. And part of that is, abstaining from voting if there's a conflict of interest. Generally, conflict of interest has to do with anything that would affect you financially, including close family members. And if that applies to you, then you are supposed to, abstain from voting and also file your report on that. Thank you. That's also in your board policy. Thank you.
Does any board member have a question on that? Would you like to ask a further question?
He was my campaign manager through August 20th. I am not affected financially, or a family member affected financially. So is that the criteria?
So yes, thank you. So generally with with the Commission on Ethics, it is anything that, yes, affects you financially or a family member.
Zero.
Not just financially, there's other benefits as well. There's other ways to
You can have the
benefit
floor.
from a relationship that could cause a conflict of interest.
As far as financial
Could
benefit.
be gifts,
Hold on,
for
I'm sorry.
example.
Excuse me.
I think that would be financial as well. I
Not
can look up
necessarily.
the exact language if you would like to take a moment.
I think we'd like to take a moment to make sure that we're accurate here.
Yeah, and I guess I'm not trying to, I just want to make sure we're clear before it happens,
think
because
that's
it's
good.
going to be, it'll be worse after if we
Right.
don't make it clear.
Could I make a comment?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Just as a comment, when you say affecting financially, I want you to know that I've instructed the HR department and the district that I will receive no salary or benefit
That has
whatsoever
nothing to do with it.
for serving on the school board. So that is an example, is a matter of fact, I am not seeking anything financially from this position.
Can I have a,
Yes.
I guess an example potentially of financial involvement would be obviously that you paid him to do the job of managing your campaign or facilitating the campaign.
I did do
Presumably,
that.
it would be reasonable he would assist you again. So if you're going to vote to give him something and there's this back and forth of monetary exchange, it opens up the question of if there's something going on here, even if it obviously there isn't. I mean, I'm not saying that there's much to gain out of being on this board.
I'll rely on the attorney.
And while you're looking that
I'll
up,
rely on the attorney.
yeah, while you're looking that up, the other question is it financial gain for the other person, or is it financial gain for the board member that's a concern?
Either.
I'm asking the attorney, please.
Yes, thank you. So where I'm looking currently is in your board policy 0141.2, conflict of interest. And you have a subsection
B, voting conflicts, that says that a board member shall not vote in an official capacity on any manner that would inure to his or her special gain or loss, or to the special gain or loss of a principal by whom he is retained, or to the parent organization or subsidiary of a corporate principal by which she is retained, or to the special gain or loss of a relative or business associate. It goes on to talk if a board member is employed by a corporation or business with an interest. The board member shall make every reasonable effort to disclose the nature of the board member's interest as a public record in a memorandum filed with the board secretary. So that is what your board policy has on voting conflicts. So when I said, when we talk about special gain loss, that generally has some financial type of impact.
So the question, I guess, because he brought up that he's not going to accept the salary or a benefit, does that matter?
No, it's not relevant.
So, in my opinion, I do not see a financial interest. If there's ever a concern by a board member, they can always contact. It's ruled on by the Commission of Ethics themselves. And so they'll always answer questions if there is a concern over anything that they govern, which is, like I said, Chapter 112 Florida statutes. And that has to do with the voting conflicts, but it also has to do with all of the other standards of conduct, like, you know, whether you can accept gifts, things of that nature.
So the other question I have then is, if there's a question about it and he says, okay, I'll just sit out and not vote, well, we also have we have to vote unless we have a conflict. So if he doesn't know if it's a conflict or if it's gray, then he can also be in trouble if he doesn't vote, correct?
So with regard to voting, you are required to vote unless you have a conflict of interest. If you have a good faith conflict, it's okay. So as long as you in good faith do not vote based on your, you know what I mean, thinking that you have a conflict of interest, that would not be held against you. Thank you.
That is a business.
That was clear as mud. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there another question? Was I not?
So,
Do you believe I have a conflict of interest?
She doesn't, just, may I?
She is the attorney, and she
can
is
he ask the
talking
attorney a
about-
question, Ms. Rosario, please?
Based on my understanding, you do not have a continuing relationship with Mr. Andros, nor do you have any, to the extent that he was at all helping you in securing this position, you don't have a financial interest in the position, is what you've mentioned, because you are not planning on taking a salary as well.
Right.
So I do not see a, something that under your policy would be inuring to your special loss or gain, having him serve as a member of this board, this MPO board.
Okay, so one other thing I'm going to say is when you call the Board of Ethics, they make a decision usually right then on the phone. Is this an item that we can put off till the next meeting and he has that right to call? I'm just asking. Dr. Moore?
So, I think the answer is you can, but I wouldn't do it any more than a month. The Value Adjustment Board is the one where we absolutely have to have somebody.
Right, right. So, but this board, we don't actually have to have one second Wednesday of every month. So we have a meeting on December 9th, correct? So that would be before that meeting,
Yep.
correct? So we have another month that we could put this vote off. Okay, then I would like to put this vote off until he can get the answer to be clear whether or not you can vote or not. Are you comfortable with
I'm
that?
comfortable with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Would that help you, Dr. Posca?
I would say that's a wise decision because if it turns out to be one, it would be, why not wait and figure it out?
Right, I mean, I'd rather not put him
Yeah,
in the
I
position
agree.
either way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to vote on everything that you don't have a conflict on. And so if you don't know you have a conflict, you don't know if you're supposed to vote. I don't want you in trouble either way, okay? Yes, Ms. Rosario?
Yeah, I would definitely, I think that's a good idea. I think it's smart to do that. My concerns have to deal with future business endeavors. His salary and choosing not to take a salary for this position has nothing to do with the position of MPO, the citizen position of MPO. In fact, Dr. Posca doesn't take a salary either, but Dr. Posca donates his salary to one of our schools. So what I think about is things like quid pro quo, or future possible business engagements that may not be an issue right this moment, but may have been or may be an issue in the future. So I think it's smart to do a little bit more investigating into this.
May I suggest that you sit with the attorney and make that call together? And that way, we're very clear as to what to do when we have this item on the next agenda. Okay?
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I would just recommend then making a motion to table it to the next
Yep.
meeting, if that's what you're planning
Okay,
on doing.
I need a motion.
So move?
Okay. I'll let Dr. Jones make the motion. And Mr. Dyer will be the second. All those in favor to table? Say
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, this item's tabled till our next meeting. 5-0. Action item C, approval of appointment of a citizen to the Indian River County School Planning Citizen Oversight Committee, interlocal agreement for public school planning for this voting position. Peter Robinson has served on this committee since its inception in 2003 as a citizen member and is interested in continuing to serve. Mr. Robinson submitted a yearly report. The purpose of the committee is to monitor implementation of the interlocal agreement and to report to participating local governments, the district school board, and the general public on the effectiveness in which the interlocal agreement is being implemented, and it is a voting position. The committee meets once per year on a date and time to be determined in the conference room B1-501 at the county office. Board members will vote on the citizen member and an alternate position. We only have one person that has
Right.
applied, correct?
Right.
Okay. Can I get a motion to have Peter Robinson serve again?
Make a motion?
Second?
Ms. Rosario and Dr. Jones. Any discussion?
He's a good guy.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It passes 5-0. All right, action agenda item 8D, approval of appointment of a citizen to the County Commission's Value Adjustment Board, VAB, for this voting position. Reference, Florida State Statute 194.015. The Value Adjustment Board is an independent forum created by the Florida Statute, Chapter 194, to provide property owners with an opportunity to appeal their property value or denial of an exemption, classification, or tax deferral. The committee meets each year as needed at County Administration Building A, Room A2-511. Angie Shepherd was appointed by the school board last year and is interested in continuing to serve. Ms. Shepherd submitted a summary. The position is for a calendar year tax cycle, and it is a voting position. All right, I need to know, this is the only person that is put forward, correct? Yes. All right, so I'm putting in Angie Shepherd as the person that we're voting on. I need a motion.
Make a motion? Sorry.
Second.
Okay, Dr. Jones and Dr. Posca. Any discussion on this item?
She's a good lady.
Okay,
Yeah.
any?
Like it.
Let's vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It passes 5-0. All right, we are to discussion items. So we have two discussion items that were put on the agenda. Reading campaign by Jackie Rosario.
Yeah, so I came across this book called The Wonky Donkey.
It's an awesome book.
We talk a lot about books, and we kind of scathed through something that could have possibly come back before us, but in light of all of that, this book, The Wonky Donkey by Craig Smith, just because I know there's a video, there's a camera here. I actually thought of reading this so that just to bring a little bit of, levity to our meeting and have a little fun. But instead, I'm going to let the video speak for a few minutes.
The Wonky Donkey.
This is an old
Can't
video.
see it.
It's right there.
There it is.
She's new at this.
I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey, a bee. A donkey. Hee-haw! And he only had 3 legs. He was a wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw! He only had 3 legs and 1 eye. He was a winky wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw! He only had 3 legs, 1 eye, and he liked to listen to country music. He was a honky-tonky winky wonky donkey. I think I like this book. Better than the main. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw! He had only 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. It was quite tall and slim. He was a lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky donkey. After you listen to this. Oh dear. How can anybody read this seriously? I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. Yo. Oh dear, hold on. Oh dear. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. And he smelled really, really bad. Oh dear. He's a stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky donkey. Oh, I had to stop looking at his bum. Oh dear. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw! He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. And that morning he got up early and hadn't had any coffee. He was a cranky, stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky donkey. Oh, how much more? He was walking down the road and I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. That morning he got up early and hadn't had any coffee. And he was always getting up to mischief. He was a hanky-panky, cranky, stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, donkey, winky, wonky donkey. Oh, this is going to kill me. Name here, I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. That morning he got up early and hadn't had any coffee. He was always getting up to mischief, but he was quite good looking. He was a spunky, hanky-panky, cranky, stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, donkey, winky, wonky, donkey. I have to finish this. It's got to me. All right. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. Okay. Hee-haw! The end.
That was good.
The wonky donkey.
Oh, not that.
Careful with that YouTube.
So I love that. I love that. It brings life, obviously, to reading. It cracks me up to see that video. So I just thought that we could take a look at this, Dr. Moore, and how about having a reading challenge in our district and actually have parents read to children, send the videos in to Kristen, and then we can kind of share that among all of our social media platforms, on our website, on school websites and whatever else the schools have. And why not? I mean, we are heading into Thanksgiving, we're heading into the holidays. I mean, what a great way of sharing an opportunity with kids, reading to them. Quite honestly, reading is fun, good, wholesome books, of course, and it's good for the soul. It's just good for the soul. Obviously, it was great for the grandma. So anyway, so I wanted to share that with all of you and open it up for discussion.
Anyone?
Well, just thank you. I've heard of it, but I think that's going to be on my Christmas list for my grandchildren. But I enjoyed that grandma more than, I'm sorry, but I do like the idea of making reading enjoyable and fun. And I think, I don't know if you do this with parents or grandparents, I think a lot of people would like to participate in that.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. A reading campaign. I loved reading as a kid. I still love reading, but I think it's a good idea, especially the way social media works. I think a lot of people will enjoy getting involved in doing it. So I think it's a positive thing.
I love reading, great idea.
I love it. Good idea. Let's do it.
I've seen, I mean, we did it, I mean, it happened during COVID. I'm not advocating for anything that we really did during COVID, except it might actually be a good idea to have the superintendent do some online reading books. Right? So he'll sit before the camera. And like your Facebook Lives, you can have every Tuesday night, read with the superintendent. And you can read
The Wonky Donkey?
The Wonky Donkey,
You gotta
or
earn
the
that
book with
raise.
no pictures, or something fun and enjoyable.
Well, I do
Or
have a
you can
degree.
even have your board members do it. I'm sure, I would be happy to volunteer 1 week and read.
Put Nicholas in your lap and read.
I could definitely do that. He's very, very big, but we could definitely work on that.
Between Ms. Becerra and Ms. Maddox, let us look at the calendar. There may be an appropriate time given something going on within the curriculum, and then obviously Ms. Maddox can do what she does. And I'll report back.
I remember a couple years, Moonshot people did it. And
Yeah, we
they
did
had different people they invited in, and they did videos of them
Yes.
all reading, and it was awesome. So I know that that's been done in our district, but I think this is a cute thing to do also. So, anything else on that?
Yeah, we could do other things like, obviously, I know you'll be on top of it, things like publishing the reading challenges, and I know you guys brainstorm really wonderful things, but yeah, I'm excited for it. So whenever it happens, just let me know. I'd be happy to help.
Maybe it would be good to do before that special reading week that we have. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
When is
have-
that?
That way we can have the videos ready.
March 2nd. Oh, gotta have a little bit of time.
Because it's Dr.
Do a
Seuss's
long
birthday,
campaign.
correct?
Yeah, we could do a long campaign. Doesn't have to be a quick one.
Through the chair, we also have Celebrate Literacy Week. That's the last week of January.
Okay, that could be a good time too.
Oh.
All right. Board protocols, Dr. Jones.
Yes, I asked Dr. Moore to add in our December workshop to review our protocols. 3 members of this board a couple years ago went through master board training, and we worked hard on protocols. And with 2 new members of the board, we could discuss, review, add, delete, but I think it'd just be important because.
We don't have 2 new members. Pardon me? We don't have 2 new members. You said with 2 new members.
Since
We did the
Since.
protocols,
Oh.
yes, okay. And I just think it would be good for all of us to kind of tune in on that, take a look at it, see what we want to review, maybe delete, add, and I know that will take a little time from Dr. Jacobs, but since we already have the foundation of them, I thought that would be good for us to review either in December or January.
Any discussion on that?
It sounds reasonable.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good idea. All right, we are now to the end of our meeting. Wow, long day. School board members matters. Who would like to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
So I went to, let me see, where should I start? Sebastian River High School's Anne Frank walkthrough, which was phenomenal. The kids actually put on a display. They had the display and they walked you through almost as if it was a live presentation. It was just fantastic, very emotional. They did a great job, and they should be very proud. Steam Park was on Saturday, the grand opening of their media center. Another fantastic opportunity for students in Dargertown Elementary. Their media center is really engaging. Lego wall, there's, I don't know, the 3D makers, I forget what they're called. The 3D makers, and then they have these big blocks. I mean, it's just, everywhere you turn, it's an interactive center, not just a media center, which is really nice. And then there is the Taxpayers Association, as Dr. Moore mentioned, their Education Innovation Panel. That was nice to go to, just to see how other people in the community, we often don't get to see that other part, so it was nice to see how other people in the community engage and are still very, very interested in the work that we are doing here in Indian River. The school choice fair was fantastic. I kind of thought about what I didn't see, and I thought about it when we saw the video, is a table for classical.
There was.
Didn't think about that.
At the,
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was there.
At the school choice, was it there? It was
it
there?
was the very first one.
Why did you go?
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Back door.
Was it on the left?
Left, right as you go
Oh,
in.
because I went through the right, and by the time I came back around, I don't know, I was talking. I didn't see it. I'm glad, yay, okay. I'm glad it was there then. You're always a step ahead. Impeccable. So I'm very happy about, I would love to chat a little bit more and find out about that trip to True North. Want to hear all about it, more about it, because I'm just so interested in how, you know, what it was like, right, for the teachers, and then more on the teachers' feedback. What did they think about it when they walked out? Were they excited, engaged? Can you share a little bit about that entire experience with us? Do you mind?
Not at all. Through the chair, it was our administrators had the opportunity, or our administrator had the opportunity to visit True North, and it bridged the gap for her with theory and that practitioner lens, and for the teachers to have that and walk in spaces that they themselves teach, and then the follow-up of having conversations of what does this look like, what does this sound like, and then they're in a really pivotal place at the campus we went to. This is their first year of 6th grade as a phased-in approach. So to have that thought partner in real time, Allison Billica is the head of schools, and she has been quite forthcoming. And to be able to have that partnership with our principal and their head of schools is going to benefit us tremendously as we move forward in this plan.
That's wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And that is it for my list. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
That's great.
Hey, Dr. Pesca?
Got nothing to share.
Okay. Dr. Jones?
Yeah, a few things. Again, thank you to school board, Dr. Moore, Vero Beach High School for the Dr. A. Ronald Hudson celebration at Vero Beach High School. For those of you who were there, it was absolutely wonderful. He was here today, and he still gets around. And Frank, I went to Vero Beach High School for that. Thank you to Ms. Bieber, Vero Beach High School, and Sebastian High School teachers and students for working that. It really was a wonderful event as you moved around the media center. Vero Bean at Vero Beach High School opened, and we had that about a week ago. Ms. Teskey and her business students, entrepreneurs, was selling that during lunchtime, and it's going to be a lot of fun for our students. There's a Tax Watch Child Care Resources presentation about 2 or 3 weeks ago, just to have people there talking about that from the state, and I enjoyed that very, very much. Child Care Resources does 1 or 2 programs like that a year, and it was wonderful. Executive Roundtable, there was a Thrive opening last week. Used to be called Substance Abuse. It's where the old doctor's clinic used to be, and they're going to have so many rooms for people now instead of this one small room downtown. So they were very, very excited. We had the ribbon cutting there. The STEAM ribbon cutting was wonderful. Thank you, Carrie Wall and her team. And I stayed a little bit as the gifted students came in. I think they're going to have 3 events this year. Talking to Miss Wall, and it was just a wonderful day. part of the Learning Alliance. About once a month, we continue to gather kids for pre-K, all of our pre-K classes with a lot of neat material in them, and I enjoy doing that. We have that tomorrow. The Day of Caring at Dodgertown, I saw my son up there. We were doing some digging with plants, but the district office going there I thought was just phenomenal. School Choice Fair, I made it to every booth, and I saw very engaged parents, very engaged students who were there, and very engaged principals. They all, on Saturday, were all just alive and doing well. Veterans Day, I did make it to Storm Grove. The speaker at that time, Melissa Martinelli, was a student from Sebastian River High School. She went to the Coast Guard Academy. All the Martinellis have gone to an academy. And her mom teaches at Storm Grove, but her presentation was wonderful. It was just about service to our students and to middle school students and how you stay involved and be active in these activities. Sorry, I had a couple more. The Fall Festival, a Liberty Magnet had at the fairgrounds was wonderful, and their PTA was very, very active. I went to an African American Student Council meeting with Mr. Adams at Sebastian River High School. That team does a phenomenal job with their school and keeping involved in the school and running some great activities. And the policy, practice, and performance that was last week, I just got to the part at Vero Beach High School with the principals and assistant principals. And they were running their data and all the information. And then they're explaining to the people who were there. I think we had 2 buses, Dr. Moore. I can't remember how many people were there, but at least 50 from the community. And they were just giving great information on how they solve these issues after they've gone through the classroom walkthrough. So they were seeing it live as we go through, and that was, just a wonderful thing to do. And just a reminder, I was not at the innovation thing on Friday. I had the honor of flipping the coin with the Unified Flag Football Team at Vero Beach High School with their 10th state championships. Let's give them a round of applause. Yes. And Vero Beach High School is continuing at Palm Beach Central. I've said this all the time. I'm very involved with athletics. It's one of the best dropout prevention programs we have. So that's it.
Mr. Dyer.
I'd just like to say it's been an exciting and interesting day, and I appreciate the warm welcome.
Okay, thank you. All right, Dave Careen, I went to the United Against Poverty. I like to organize the cereal boxes there. I really like doing that. I don't know why, but it's fun. And it was nice to be there. And it's always a great place to see what they're doing instead of a handout. It's a hand up, and it's really great. Treasure Coast Council Local Governments meeting I attended, and the speaker was a veteran of the Veterans Council that's down in Palm Beach. And one of the topics that came up was the lack of a hospital around here close for veterans. Our veterans have to drive all the way down to West Palm if they want to go to a hospital. But there's hope on the horizon. He was talking about the fact that there is some talk about building a hospital closer to the Treasure Coast. Dr. Hudson's ceremony was wonderful. The school choice fair was excellent. I went around to every booth, and I went around to the charter school booths and to our ESE services because they weren't getting any love. I went over there to all of them and thanked them for being there on a Saturday. And I was there very beginning when the gates opened, and I couldn't believe how busy it was then. So obviously it's doing something for our community to get the word out about what every school is doing. Holocaust, I went to the Anne Frank Museum as they were breaking it down to Vero Beach High School because I couldn't get there when they had it earlier, but they were wonderful. The kids that were breaking down said, wait a minute, stop, and they showed me through it, and it was really great. Vero Bean, I didn't get there for the very opening because I was teaching, but I got there the next day, and I saw Dr. Moore serving coffee. And you stopped before I got in the line. I don't know what that was about.
Because you wanted the kids to make it, not me.
They were very good at what they were doing. The coffee was excellent. So go over there if you can and get a coffee. Veterans Day I went to Gifford Middle School, and that was really great. Their little band is so good. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, they're good. And then I went over to Storm Grove, and that was really motivational. It really was. It was so well done. I felt like I was at like some professional event. So good to them. Good job for that, all of them. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to you, Dr. Moore, for your closing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just honestly cannot believe Thanksgiving is a week from Thursday, so very thankful for this board. Maybe a little bit of a rocky start today, but I know everyone's heart is in the right place, and we will get it right where it needs to be in service of children. Extremely thankful for my team. The success of this system comes at the fruits of all of your hard work and labor, so thank you so much.
All right, at this time, I'd like to thank everyone for viewing or coming out this evening to our meeting, and happy Thanksgiving. I'd like to adjourn the meeting. The time is 7:09.